Good evening. It's just gone 7 p.m. here in the UK or 2 p.m. 10 past 2 actually in the US right now, Eastern time. And I'm done for my trading for the day, so I just wanted to recap my trading. Good day, decent day actually. I stuck to my plan, did exactly what I discussed in the pre-market video I did live. I gave the levels out as well. These are levels I gave live today. And so I'm just going to quickly recap the levels and I can get into the trade. So on the daily, I discussed this daily or weekly trend line, and you can see I've drawn it in, connect to that pivot, and we were coming up into that area. And in the video this morning I said that the ES or the MES is the only chart which has not quite hit that trend line. SPY had already got to it a long time ago. Let's get daily. So SPY had already touched the trend line. Qs had and Nasdaq had as well, and it's almost like it was waiting for ES to catch up. And so that was one of my focus today. We were quite close to it on the pre-market, just coming into the open, and obviously I also discussed about the volume which is declining as well on this big pullback, and the fact we're so extended, we're looking for a bit, it wouldn't surprise me if we had a bit of a pullback, and we're due a pullback, a decent one, a healthy pullback. Maybe to that area there is a decent area for it to pull back to, or potentially this area here as well. So we've got a few areas to watch. So my main focus today, going back onto the hourly screen, was to watch for this trend line rejection, and you can see that's exactly what happened. And I had a couple other levels, one there based on confidence from July. We've got a couple of bounce levels as well, and you can see these levels were relatively accurate. So let's go into the 5 minute and I'll go through my trade. So on the open, market looked, well, we had this big gap up on the SPY, and obviously you can see the futures doesn't close, it's open 24 hours, so it's not really a gap up, but we had this bit of a grind up. And then on the 9:30 candle, we had this big wide range bar, not really high volume for an opening candle. And then we had an anomaly next, we had this small candle here with the same amount of volume as the wide range candle, and that was an indecision candle. So straight away I was thinking maybe we're going to have something a bit different today. And then we had a similar sized candle next to it with slightly lower volume as well. I do generally ignore volume on the first quarter of an hour, half an hour of the day, but today I couldn't help but not notice the decline in volume as we were pushing up. So that's kind of what did it for me. We got into, and we're looking at the 5 minute chart. Yeah, so when it got into, I ignored the break and retest of the pre-market high level, and that's purely because I was watching the volume declining, and I didn't quite like going high into this level which I was really waiting for, and that was the weekly or the daily rejection downward trend line. And I had to decide which had the best risk to reward, a break and retest long or potential rejection for the move down. Obviously we know the answer now on hindsight. So my first trade today was the touch of this trend line, and my stop was just 2 ticks above it. And you can see I was in good, I wasn't really in the red, did a no drawdown on that trade for a while, but I wasn't really scalping it. I should have probably scalped it a bit, maybe the level there, that's one of my levels. I always say in my videos to use the levels as a target point as well. And had I used that as a target, it would have been a great out. But I didn't, I held, because I was waiting for VWAP basically. And I wanted to get back down. I want to see a big move up. We saw this big move up. I was expecting a big move back down. And so I kept my stop really tight. And so I stopped out for a very small loss there. And then I took another touch of this trend there. I kind of thought I'd get back in. I think it was on that candle there I got back in. And again, my stop was above that area, and I went in profit for a bit, came back, and it stopped me out. So then I just thought, I still saw a decline in volume, and I still had confidence in the fact I was trying to take this trend line rejection. So I tried one more time. This would be my third stop in a row if I stopped out, and my entry was 45.96, just there. So I saw this candle come in, and then this one pushed up, and as it came down, that's where I got in, and that was on that volume bar there. So we had medium volume, but what I wasn't expecting was the reaction we got afterwards. So my average price was 45.96. Bear in mind I had 2 paper cut losses there as well, you know, trying, I was feeling for the top basically, and that's kind of what starts. Sometimes I get on tilt where I feel for the top, feel for the top, feel for the top, feel for the top, and then I start getting frustrated and start oversizing or adding to my size. But I'm trying to change how I trade, so now I'm trying to keep it tight stops, and so the losses are minor, like a quarter of an R, a third of an R, something like that. It wasn't much at all. In fact, it wasn't even that. I think both those stops was less than half an R, so about a quarter of an R each. And then, but it was the move downward, did it? So that was my entry was there, and my first out was on the VWAP. I had a bit of a keyboard error. I got out with all my contracts, and I didn't want to get out of all of my contracts there. I want to get out of half. So by the time I thought about it and thought, do I want to do it? Should I take the profit and run? I thought, solid. It came back here, and I got back in. It was just below the VWAP, so a little bit of a gap. So I was back in with the other half. So my next target was going to be low of the day. Well, it wasn't the low of the day then. It was low of the day. It was there, and it's that volume point of control as well. So we've got this point of control with a high condensed volume, area of pre-market confluence as well. We had this breakout area here, broke out, and as we came down, I was still holding onto that half of that contract. In fact, it was 2 contracts I got into there. I took 2 off there by mistake, added that one back in again there to continue to move down. So I was in with 1 contract left, and I saw the pullback, and again look at this decline in volume as well. Decline in volume on the pullback, and I waited. I used the 2-minute chart then to get a better entry. Let's go to the 2-minute, and you'll see my entry. So this is a 2-minute chart. I don't normally trade off the 2-minute. I use it just to fine tune my entries and my exits. So when it came up, it touched the VWAP. I was going to get out if we closed on a 5-minute above the VWAP anyway. And then when I saw this change of direction candle, and it was on increasing volume as well, I added. So my add was about there, approximately there. A safer bet on hindsight would have been the break and retest of that area. I could have taken it on the pullback, maybe there. So that's down to how you like to risk. Me, I don't mind the riskier trades, and I was willing to stop out of both my contracts there anyway. So it would have been a very small loss on the add had I just taken it where I did there, and then it came and stopped me out. So I was going to get out of my main trade. So anyway, as you can see, this worked out perfectly, and my out was on my level there. And the reason I got out, we had, still on the 2-minute, we had this high volume bar, bottom tail candle, high volume bar, bottom tail candle, and then we had reducing volume afterwards. So reducing volume afterwards, then another high volume bar above average on this small bottom tail candle, and then I saw this hammer candle, which is an indication that we may see a reversal, and we saw this big green candle, the first green candle we've seen for a while, and it's a solid green. That's a strong candle, and it was about average volume as well. And so I undernard. I originally had my stop was at 45.60. I was targeting that area, and the reason for that was on the level 2 we had lots of sellers and lots of buyers down there, so I was wanting to get out just before it. And in the end, I saw it come up, and I put my stop right there, and it just tagged me on that exit there, and that was great. And there was several reasons. Like I said, the volume, ending volume, volume price analysis. It was coming into a daily level, this yellow line. It's also at a level identified in the pre-market. And what's the other reason? Volume. Oh yeah, and obviously we've not really had any pullbacks at all since as well. And there was one more reason, I can't remember what it is now. But anyway, if I remember, I'll say it. So there's more reasons for me to get out down here than it was for me to stay in. And as soon as I got out, I had instant out regrets. And it started coming back down. I was thinking, oh, I was putting a new low as well. And I was thinking, oh no, maybe I got out too early. But bearing in mind, I've been in since there, and I rode it all the way down to here. That's pretty much the meat of the move anyway. And on hindsight now, it's a great out. But at the time when you couldn't see, this half the screen was missing, you couldn't see any of that. All you could see was that it's putting in new lows, and I thought, is this going to be a big grind down day or something? But as soon as I saw that candle, I knew straight away it's on volume as well. I knew straight away it's a reversal, but because I trusted my levels, I trusted my volume price analysis as well, knowing that we saw ending volume. And then after ending volume, you get this selling climax. And then you get to see a bit of a liquidity sweep, you know, stops being taken out. And it's exactly what happened there. And now I'm happy. I don't have the anxiety. I was a bit annoyed with myself thinking I left money on the table. But it was a big move. There's no reason to be annoyed. I should be happy. You know, most people are happy. We're pleased just to get a couple of bars down, but I got the entire day from top to bottom. Still not happy. I know some people are just not grateful. So anyway, that's my day. I'm glad. Look at it now. It's ran out. Look at how smooth that is. That's market makers moving the market, I think. And it looks a bit like an accumulation zone, but at an angle, normally you get the accumulation zone going across like that. But if you look, every time it pull back, you see volume spikes there, and this big area here. It's what you expect to see when it's accumulating on higher volume, and then the breakdown or whatever. Oh, did I say accumulate? I meant distribution, redistribution. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. And that's kind of redistribution, but you're looking at a slight angle, and now it's looking to make the breakdown, pull back, retest, and I was, to be fair, I expected to put in another bottom, but there you go. That's just how I'm seeing it, and a decent day and a decent move that was. What was that? That was how many candles that was? I was in that trade for about an hour and a half, 45 bars I waited through, took it for a 62% drop. So it's not a bad move. And if I were to put that into a risk, so it's a short position. So my entry was there. My stop was always going to be a few ticks above the high. And my exit was there. 18.3R. That's not a bad day. And there's me getting a bit annoyed because I could have got another 3R out of that move. There you go. I'm pleased with that. Good day. Okay, thank you for watching.